I'm your host, Marcelle Soviero, and today we're going to hop on the carousel and meet interesting people and talk about interesting things as we do every week. I'm delighted to have tonight Heather Bova, who is the owner of Ura Spa in Wilton, Connecticut. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's great to be here.
So you've launched your business,
I have.
and you've called it Ura the
Correct.
Spa. And
Correct.
so tell us a little bit about how that name came to be.
So we opened the business the end of December, and Ura is actually a symbol. It's a symbol that's a vertical line with 3 horizontal lines through it, and it's actually the logo of the spa. It represents the letter U in the Celtic Ogham alphabet.
Okay.
And in the Celtic alphabet, all of the symbols are represented by a plant because the Celts were phenomenal botanists. And the plant that was represented by the letter U was the heather plant.
Okay.
So in Celtic lore, the heather plant is synonymous with passion, healing, luck, love, refinement, generosity, refinement, renewal, all good things.
Yeah.
And so it seemed very serendipitous that we would name the spa Ura, especially since my business partner's daughter's name is Heather as well. So
Wonderful.
there you have it.
Well, yes, that is serendipitous.
Yes.
So there are a lot of challenges to starting a business, any business.
Right.
And what are the specific challenges to starting a beauty spa business?
Right. Well, I think that specifically in the Northeast, especially in a town like Wilton, we run into seasonality. You know, Wilton is a town that pretty much clears out during the summer months.
Right.
And so it can be challenging running a business, not just for my business. I think all business owners in Wilton would agree.
Right.
It's a challenging time of year. So that certainly, the seasonality of the industry is challenging, as well as trying to find services that have some longevity, something that's not necessarily a trend, something that's going to stick around, be around, and have clients continually coming back for again and again,
Okay.
not just 1 month and you never see them again. So.
Okay. So seasonality in terms of staying power with your product line.
Yes,
and
and
things like
services,
that.
exactly.
And services, okay. Yeah, the seasonality, that's a great point because you have to make a lot of your income in 9 months
Pretty
versus,
much.
you know,
Right,
like,
exactly.
so that makes
Exactly.
perfect sense. What have been, so those are the challenges. What have been some of the things that came a little easier than you thought, or?
Well, I have been so fortunate in that I have had some amazing therapists come to me and tell
Massage
me,
therapists?
Massage therapists, facial or estheticians, energy workers, a dermatologist, and I'm continuing to, you know, want to partner with other practitioners such as acupuncturists that have the same philosophy on health and wellness as I do. So that has been very encouraging that I have been able to partner with such great.
Right, so it's less that you've had to go out and find folks as they've
Correct.
sort of come to you
They
in
have.
collaboration with your
Exactly.
ideas.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
great. So your approach sounds like it's holistic, to
It
say the
is.
least.
You know, I mean, I really like to focus on whole body healing. And however I can bring that to the mainstream, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
When people come to my spa, I want them to feel good when they leave. I want them to feel like they're in a beautiful, relaxing environment. I don't want it to be a clinical experience.
Right.
I want it to be a place that they want to keep coming back to.
Sure. How do you make it that way?
Well, I have decorated it myself.
There you go.
actually.
This is what
And
business owners do.
That's right. And I kind of, it's in about a 200-year-old house, so it's
Okay.
beautiful. It has authentic hardwood floors, probably 18-inch planks. And I decorated it the way that I would want to decorate my house if I were having guests over.
Okay.
It's warm colors, it's relaxing environment. It's zen.
Yeah.
It's zen, so.
So that it's making that atmosphere happen,
It
and then
is.
having the right services that people want to come
Exactly.
back to. So what are you seeing as some trends in the spa industry now?
Well, I can tell you, Marcelle, globally, it's interesting because I don't think you can go to any high-end hotel anywhere in the world now without seeing spa services, without there being an incredibly built-out high-end spa. So I think it is becoming more of a focus on health and wellness worldwide. Whole body healing, energy treatments, Reiki, reflexology, cranial-sacral therapies. Those are trends that I think are here to stay because of that whole body healing concept that people are now starting to tap into.
That's interesting. So what you're saying is it's not all about outward look.
Correct. No, people are starting to now realize that in order to really feel their best, to be and bring your best self to the world, you've got to feel good from the inside first. It's got to start there. And getting in touch with your spirituality, with your energy, with whatever that is that works for you, that's what people are starting to tap into now. For example, people would in the past come in for a straight Swedish massage.
Right.
Well, now they want to have Reiki, reflexology, or some cranial-sacral therapy along with that Swedish massage. So that's what we're seeing more and more of.
Now, you've used a few words there that I'm not sure what they mean.
Okay.
But, so in addition to the hands-on massage, these are more cerebral pieces to
they are, they're non-invasive.
Okay.
It's a gentle touch of the hands. It's a transfer of energy. It's a harmonization of, your cranial sacral fluids, those types of energy experiences.
Right. That's very different than
yes, it is.
10, 20 years ago.
Yes,
when it was, just one kind of massage, no less.
Yeah, correct. And what's interesting, Reiki, for example, is it's a Japanese art or technique that's been around for thousands of years. So, these things are starting to recycle themselves, and not only a trend, I think they are here to stay. So
you would say that the practice of Reiki is something that people come back for?
Absolutely.
What are some of the other things that are really something people need to come again and again that you're finding?
Well, once they get hooked on reflexology is another one that we see people coming back for time and time again. Cranial sacral therapy, another one.
Why don't you explain what cranial is?
Cranial sacral therapy, it's a non-invasive, gentle harmonization of the central nervous system.
Okay.
Basically, when we're born, we all have cranial sacral fluid flowing throughout our body. And it's a life force in our body. And when we're going through periods of stress and difficult times in our life, that force gets confused, essentially. And so a really talented cranial sacral therapy will help reharmonize that balance within our system.
Through touch or through?
Both. Okay. Gentle touch, non-invasive, gentle touch, and transfer of energy.
And energy. Okay. So not too unlike a Reiki situation? Or?
Yes, but different.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. More focusing on the cranial sacral fluid versus just a transfer of energy, which is what Reiki is.
Wow. Okay. And what about certainly? What is your mix of clientele in terms? Are men more apt to come to spas these days?
Yes. Another big trend. Not only are they more apt to come to spas, but we're seeing more and more men, wanting to look their best self. So that means, they are interested in maybe improving the fine lines on their forehead, and they're getting some Botox or they're getting some injectables to just make them look more youthful. A big trend, absolutely.
Now, you talked about bringing these wonderful techniques to the masses.
Yes.
It's expensive.
It is, and if I could wave my wand, my magic wand, I would love to find a way to bring health and wellness to more people, to more mainstream individuals. I mean, not just to people that live in Fairfield County. Everybody can benefit from health and wellness services. And if people are feeling better, they're looking better, you want to be around them, you want to spend time with them. Right. It improves everyone. Everybody is lifted when people are feeling their best. It
sounds like that's your mission, that's part of your passion. I can just tell by the way you're talking. Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get into this? Just to backtrack a little bit, you're originally from...
I'm from Los Angeles,
right.
And I started out in Los Angeles in the pharmaceutical industry, in dermatology, pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, okay.
And transferred out to the East Coast, and had a number of connections in dermatology. And in fact, the dermatologist that is working with us, I met through one of the connections when I was working in the industry.
Right.
And we remained friends and still are to this day. So because of the history, I had experience in the skin industry. I sold the stuff. I knew what worked. I knew what didn't. And I saw a lot of doctors starting their own med spas. And I felt that with my connections and my contacts and my experience, I could do the same thing. So.
Well, you just brought up a term,
Right.
med spa,
Right.
Which is something, what I think of with that term is more plastic surgery and more invasive treatments. Am I totally wrong on that?
No, you're not.
Okay.
You know, a lot of, med spas are kind of a tag word, and they can be with a plastic surgeon. Some med spas have partnered with a dentist or an acupuncturist, and they can still have the tagline med spa.
Okay.
It's really, if you have an association with a medical practitioner, you can pretty much call yourself a medical spa or a medi spa. But usually, if you do have a med spa, you're doing injectables. You're doing the Botox, the Dysport, the Restylane, Perlane, Juvederm, and some other newer ones, of course.
And you would call that more of an invasive procedure?
Well, they are,
I guess?
because it is slightly invasive, absolutely. Your skin is being punctured. So,
right,
yes,
right. So that's a different thing. So you came from Los Angeles. You started a spa before this one.
I had an opportunity to co-own and manage, so yes.
So you had some experience there.
Correct, yes.
Which is a great way to learn, right?
Yes, it is.
And now this you're doing on your own.
Right, and there were things that I wanted my own spa, and I enjoyed it. I loved the contacts, especially with the people in Wilton. They're wonderful, and made some great friends, and basically wanted to build my own. And so now I've done that. And
so what is the difference? Now you have your own spa. So what are some of the tenets for you?
Right.
What must happen for you at your place?
Well, what must happen is when everybody walks in the door, there is a sense of welcoming. There is a sense that, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave this place.
That's great.
When they can spend, after a service, they can sit down after their service and just relax. They can have something to eat. They can chat with their girlfriends. There's no rush to leave. And they don't want to leave. And I love that, because that's how it is at my house. I come in, when I have guests over, I want them to stay. I want them to feel like, wow, this is a great place to be. I'm comfortable, I'm warm, I'm happy here. I don't want to go. So that is my main tenet.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's part of the passion, no question. So you have gone through, all these years of figuring this out and making this happen and having a successful business for yourself. How much do you rely on other people in terms of, I imagine you need a lot of masseuses and...
Yes, but my number one, my partner, Callie, is my lifeline. She's the one day in, day out that makes the daily operations happen. From the booking of the appointments to, she manages all of my therapists, and I have 9 or 10 part-time therapists that she's in charge of. That's her deal. And I could not do this without her, especially being a single mom and having the other
all that stuff,
all of the other things called life that are going on.
That happen.
So
Yeah,
so I'm very fortunate to have her, and I do rely heavily on my experienced therapists. I'm not ever going to have a therapist that is just out of massage school at my spa. I'm never going to do that. I want people that are seasoned, that this is what they do because they love it and they love helping and healing other people. Those are the types of people that I hire.
So that's a big difference.
Huge.
In terms of what you're looking at versus, what other people look at. That's great.
Absolutely.
As far as your background, are you I know there's all kinds of certifications for all of these treatments. Is that part of your background too?
It's not at all.
Okay, so you have the business.
I have business and sales, marketing, sales. That's my forte. I'm a people person, Marcelle. You know, I love getting out and talking to you and meeting great people in the Wilton community and going to Chamber of Commerce events and just spreading the word. I'm involved in another great group, over 40 females in Fairfield County, which is a phenomenal group to be a part of.
That just brings out the connections.
It does, and these are women that want to help you. They want to help you build your business, and it's just a really passionate group of women that I'm proud to be a part of.
So as part of your philosophy and truly your success, it has been a lot of these building with your relationships, and
Absolutely.
You would recommend
it's
that.
It's all about relationships. That's what makes our lives important and gives us meaning, are the special relationships that we have in our lives.
Irregardless of the business.
Irregardless of the business. I was just going to say, you know, whether it's relationships with our children, your spouse, it's all about the relationship. And that's what is really different and beautiful, and I'm proud of about my spa at Ura, is that we want to develop a relationship with you because we want you to keep coming back because you've had such a great experience.
Right.
So.
That's great.
Yeah.
As far as return customers, is that working for you, or is a lot of
No, it
that has to be a hard part of the business?
It is. You know, I mean, there are industry standards, but I don't set my standards to industry standards because I want to be unique and different, and I really do want to build a long-term relationship with the clients and customers that come through my door, and more importantly, you know, I want them to build that relationship with their therapist, and we really do pride ourselves on trying to match this specific client, you know, with the therapist that is going to be best for them. And we can't do that unless we get to know the client. It's not the type of place where you walk in and so-and-so is going to work on you. No, we want to know who you are. We want to know what your problems are. We want to know, you know, what do you like, what don't you like, so we can put you with the right therapist.
Interesting. And as far as going back to some more of the trends that are happening in the industry, so we talked a little bit about it's not all external beauty.
Right.
It's I'm calling it a holistic approach, which may or may not be right.
But I like it.
What about the organic materials and things like that? How is that working?
There is certainly a clientele that likes to have organic products, and so we do carry an organic line because there's a niche for that. But an organic product is not for everybody. They tend to have a shorter shelf life because they don't have the preservatives in them.
Right.
You're probably not going to get the dramatic results from an organic product. It's going to look good, it's going to feel good, it's going to smell good, and you're going to know that it's insanely healthy. You can eat the stuff if you want it.
Right.
But other than seeing real results, you're probably not going to get the same results as you would from a medical grade line, let's say.
Okay.
But there's a niche for organic products, and there certainly is, there's a clientele for it.
So with that in mind, do you feel like that part is a fad, or that's here to stay?
You know, I think that especially in this neck of the woods in Fairfield County, there's always going to be, it's a trend, but it's a trend that has been staying, I think. As women tend to get older, we're more interested in products, I think, that really work. So they're looking for more, you know, pharmaceutical grade products that, you know, that are going to help them bleach out the brown spots, that are going to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, etc. So.
Now, do you see, we talked about there are some men, but I imagine your clientele is mostly women. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
What are younger people coming in for services?
Yes, they are, and it's interesting you say that. We, you know, happen to be right next door to a yoga studio, which is great. And so it's interesting because the yoga clientele, they tend to be more interested in that, in the organic line. They're interested in that wholeness, healthy, you know, vegan, you know, type of philosophy, gluten-free mentality philosophy, which is great, but that's not for everyone.
Right.
So,
and they tend to be younger folks.
And they do tend to be younger. Yes.
Okay. Okay,
definitely.
that's interesting because in the past I've thought more, you know, you hit that age where you get all your wrinkles and stuff and then you're going, but in my own experience I see a lot more younger people going to masseuses and therapists and things.
Well, yes, I think that this younger generation is definitely more open to a holistic wellness type of philosophy. Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
You know, the older generation, my generation, it's newer for us, but we're embracing it. We're embracing it with open arms. But the younger generation,
if it works for them,
right? Exactly. But the younger generation, they're being brought up, you know, within that. So.
Right. You know, I'm just thinking of my own self. At 20, it wouldn't occur to me to go to a spa, but it does seem more of a thing that younger people do now.
Exactly.
So
it is.
It opens things up. What do you see coming in the future? So we have a lot of great things happening now.
Yeah.
What are you preparing for? I mean, we don't have crystal balls, but...
Right. You know, ideally, I'd like to see myself continuing to partner with more talented different types of energy modalities that I'm not even aware of. I heard of one today called Rolfing. That's brand new, and don't ask me what it is because I couldn't explain it to you. But I'm fascinated by it.
Right.
That is, you know, I want to open myself up to new and different types of healing and wellness modalities, and partner with specialists that do that and bring them to my spa.
Is that a big part of your training for your own self, to go to conferences and sort of learn about all the different techniques?
You know, we were talking earlier, you're an avid reader, I'm an avid reader. I love to read about new and upcoming, you know, what's in the pipeline, so to speak. Not only in holistic wellness, but also in aesthetic medicine, you know, what the next latest and greatest filler is.
Right.
Those things are interesting to me, so I'm always trying to stay on the cutting edge of what's out there. And then if I can bring it to my spa, of course, do that.
Then that would be the best.
Right.
Best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. So in terms of the more, I don't know if you call it medicinal, or what sorts of things do you see coming? Are there alternatives to the Botox that we all know about, or?
Really, no.
Not yet. Okay, so we're just
really.
trying to figure this out.
You know, it is becoming more of a commodity in that there are new players coming on the market with a neurotoxin all the time, but they basically all do the same thing.
It does the same thing.
You know, that's not new. There are, you know, there's a whole line of HA, we call it hyaluronic acid fillers that are out. There are some other ones that are out that don't use HA that tend to last a little longer. I mean, if you're reading the trade magazines, they're getting into, they want to kind of incorporate genetic DNA now into, you know, a more youthful appearance. Don't ask me, but that's a little futuristic. But I have to tell you, I think that what it comes down to, eating healthy, exercising, feeling good about yourself. If you feel youthful and good on the inside, it projects to the outside. It doesn't matter what you do externally. If you don't feel good about yourself on the inside, it doesn't matter.
That's a great message.
You know?
And it goes a little bit ahead to, of course, I have to ask you, you know, for all of our viewers, what are the small things we can do, you know, for, what are we up to, spring and summer, to sort of help our...
Well, first of all, in terms of bringing spa services to everybody, you would be amazed, Marcelle, when, you know, teenage girls come in, or men come in just for a simple brow shaping, or just to get those big bushy eyebrows cleaned or trimmed up. It makes a dramatic difference on their appearance, and they leave feeling better about themselves.
Yeah.
So those are little things that you can do. You know, it's amazing how taking off a little, you know, some hair unsightly hair on a woman's face, you take it off and she feels like $1 million.
She's feeling better,
these are not expensive things you can do. These are simple things that make you feel good about yourself.
So much better, right.
Absolutely.
Right.
But in terms of skincare for the summer, one of the most important things, especially now that we're kind of getting out, I'd like to say we're getting out of the winter months, but hopefully we'll be soon, is start to exfoliate again. It's really, you know, get a very a gentle exfoliating scrub and just start kind of sloughing off that dead outer layer of skin. The winter months are harsh and they kind of suck the moisture out of our skin, and we tend to even get more sensitive in the winter months because our skin is so dry. So once, you know, things start to warm up, start to exfoliate again. That's really important. Drinking a lot of water, staying away from caffeine as much as you can, staying away from sugar, because studies show that sugar actually decreases over time the collagen in your skin. The collagen is essentially the mattress, the bed spring. The mattress lies on top of the bed spring. Your collagen is the bed spring. Studies show dramatically that diets that are high in sugar reduce or decrease the thickness of collagen. So stay away from sugar. I'm sorry, yeah, stay away from sugar because it decreases collagen, which is your box spring.
Okay.
Okay. Your skin is the mattress that lies over the box spring. Right. Okay. So, you know, try and cut sugar out. Drink as much water as you can. Exfoliate, moisturize. Those are, you know, oh, and of course sunscreen. Sunscreen. Yeah. Everybody says that. You don't have to use expensive sunscreens. Use what you can afford. Just make sure that it's broad spectrum, UVA, UVB.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep. So it's funny because what you're telling us, we've really talked about the gamut today. There are really extensive services and things that you can do, and yet there are other things that are you're able to do. And in the end, it sounds like what you're saying is, as long as you're feeling good on the inside, you'll feel good on the outside, no matter what.
Exactly.
So that's a big piece of your spa, is helping that inner piece.
If I could put a message out to the world, that's the message that I would put out, is it starts inside first.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to add? Anything?
Gosh, I don't know.
We've covered your future and
politics,
what you're going to do.
Yeah. Religion.
Right. Well, we wish you all the luck with your business and all the people that you're helping.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure.
And we will remember, of course, all the 5 things.
Okay.
The water. The sleep. Did we talk about sleep?
We did.
Absolutely no sugar.
Stay away from it. Cut it down.
Yeah, and
especially sodas. Bad stuff. Bad stuff.
The caffeine's worrisome for me, but you know,
it's one of my vices as well.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I agree.
And sunscreen.
Big time.
So that's what we can do.
And exfoliate if you can.
Oh, right. That was our first one.
If you can.
Great. Well, I think those are some good takeaways for our viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcelle.
Okay. Thank you.